Are you intrigued by the things that go bump in the night? Have you ever gotten the heebie-jeebies when you pass by an old house? Ever desired to dance in a cemetery or even obsess over the dark and obscure? Well, me too. Hi, I'm Nicole, and strange topics are my specialty.
From the creators of the White Wednesday Radio Network and Lead Up Studios, this is The Dark with Nicole.
Welcome, my bats and batties, back to The Dark, where this week we talk about the 12 murders of Christmas. If only there was a song for me to sing right now.
On the first murder of Christmas, my true love came to me. My high school bully spleen.
I love that. Oh my gosh. All right. So once again, I have not proofread these raw reaction because that's a lie. I read some of the titles just to make sure I wasn't getting in too deep to something possibly not that great to read about, but I think it'll be good. Sorry, my eye itches and I'm trying not to ruin my makeup.
All because I sent you a TikTok that said we should take pictures together. And then she comes in with makeup and I'm just...
Hobo. That's okay. Cena and I just don't take pictures together, so I never wear makeup. But now I have to be ready at all times.
She never knows when it's coming.
Yep. All right. Day 1. A grim gift left under the Christmas tree. When 37-year-old Patty White offered down on her luck Michelle O'Dowd a place to stay over the festive period, Michelle was delighted at the Christmas spirit being shown to her. But White had an ulterior motive, one involving stealing all of her new housemates' credit cards, killing her and leaving her among a trashed Christmas tree to look like a bungled burglar. The scene was discovered by Michelle's twin brother Phil, who went to check in on her after she failed to show for work. There, amongst a pile of wrapped Christmas presents, he saw his sister's foot. Patty White had beaten and strangled the 67-year-old and left her among the gifts. She would receive a 45-year sentence from a South Carolina judge for her vile crime.
I feel like I need more details.
I know.
Like, how did they encounter each other?
Yeah.
Were they co-workers?
Yeah.
Like, I was imagining a young woman, and then you said 67 or something.
So was I.
And I'm like, gotta.
Because Patty White was 37.
The murderess
offered the victim a place to stay.
That's insane.
Yeah. Day 2. Couple stab man in face, bash in his skull, and set light to him on Christmas Day in Kill Bill plot. These are just the titles of the small stories.
This is... It sounds hilarious.
Yeah,
but
I know.
It's a murder.
Victoria, Australia. It's Christmas Day 2013, but instead of spending the day with his loved ones, William Bill Stevens pays the ultimate price for keeping poor company as his friends, quotations, meth addicts, Danielle Kerr and Darren Lewis, kill him in one of the most violent ways conceivable. Their motives not entirely clear, the pair drove Stevenson out to the bushland and began beating him about the head with a large rock. Kerr then stabbed the man to death while cackling about their, quote, Kill Bill plans. The couple then set the car alight and casually walked home. Thankfully, they would both be arrested, charged, and convicted soon afterwards. This is one of the best ideas I've had ever.
Literally, the whole Kill Bill thing.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my God. Why are meth heads funny? They shouldn't be funny, but that's funny.
Yes.
Tragic.
Tragic, but
also.
Day 3. Marvelous. Not marvelous, marvelous.
Is
I don't
this
know
like
if
a
it's
drag
different.
queen name?
No, it just says marvelous in quotation marks. Teen gang indulge in sickening festive killing spree. There were 4 of them, and they called themselves the Downtown Posse. To the police and courts, though, they were simply Laura Taylor, 16, DeMarcus Smith, 17, Heather Matthews, 20, and Marvelous Keen. That's in the name of one of the kids. He was 19. Marvelous. Yes. Between Christmas Eve and Boxing Day of 1992, the gang went on a murder spree in Dayton, Ohio, that would see 5 innocent people die and 4 seriously injured, murdered for not liking a gift enough. Led by Keen, Marvelous, the gang's primary motive was robbery, but things soon got out of hand as Marvelous grew paranoid about snitches and effectively turned the holiday season into hunting season. For his central role in the Christmas killings, in quotation marks, Keen would go on to become the 10,000th American convict to be executed since the death penalty was reinstated back in 1976, while his cohorts would receive life sentences.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a little too close to home. I know it's hours away, but...
The Christmas season became hunting season. That's what gets me. What the hell?
Man. You know, I saw TikTok the other day.
Yeah.
That was like 10 most dangerous cities to live in Ohio, and Dayton was like number 2.
Yeah.
I always think Dayton and Dalton.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I read Dayton, I'm like, Dalton? I'm like, that one pony town? And then I'm like, never mind. It's another place.
Yeah. All right. Day 4. Search for missing Bristol woman turns to hunt for her killer. Joanna Yeats.
How's it
It's Yeates. So I'm debating between Yeats and Yates. And
Yeats, I just look
all right. Joanna's disappearance a week before Christmas in 2010 made local news in Bristol almost immediately. Soon the search and appeal broadened, and her whereabouts were of national interest. On Christmas Day, her body was found in the snow 3 miles from her home. The case achieved notoriety for the media's handling of the first suspect, Joanna's eccentric landlord, Christopher Jeffries. Hounded and effectively labeled the murderer without proof, UK tabloids, The Mirror and The Sun, were later found guilty of contempt of court for their poor coverage. Jeffries was later vindicated when Miss Yeats' Dutch neighbor Vincent Tabak was arrested and charged with her murder.
Man.
Yeah. Fucking UK tabloids, man. Didn't cover it enough. So they were
I was like
guilty in contempt of court.
It makes me wonder if it was more of they had information they didn't share.
Well, maybe. And they were sharing it on the news before sharing it with police.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like, I can't see it not having coverage being contempt, but I can see them having evidence and not sharing it as contempt.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Oh, this is one we already know of.
Oh.
But it has to do with the holidays. The infamous child beauty queen murder that still haunts America more than 2 decades on. JonBenet Ramsey's Christmas Day, Boxing Day, 1996 murder. Police could never officially ascertain the precise date, so they say it was Boxing Day, apparently. Caused an enormous storm across America and the wider world. 22 years on, and 6-year-old callous killer or killers have still not been identified. True crime buffs the world over have...
She's making a face, guys.
This is a terrible sentence. True crime buffs the world over have studied and obsessed over the case of the young girl killed apparently during a botched kidnapping. Countless documentaries, movies, books, and articles point fingers, but the mysteries never been solved. Many people accuse JonBenet's parents. Some look to her older brother. Accusations of a stalker are rife, and local child molesters have, somewhat understandably, been treated with suspicion. In fact, few people in Boulder, Colorado have evaded suspicion. Perhaps the eeriest suspect though, is Bill McReynolds, a local man hired by the Ramseys to play Santa Claus at a large party held at the rich family's house that year. McReynolds died in 2002, swearing innocence. It's a case that will perhaps never be solved. I haven't fully watched documentaries or anything on the JonBenet Ramsey case. But what I have seen, and this was like years ago, I think, what I have seen is I do think it might have been her brother.
I also think that.
I don't remember why I think that. I would have to rewatch the cases. We can do a whole episode on it if we want.
Absolutely, we would need to.
But yeah. Day 6. We're almost to Christmas, baby. Edinburgh woman stabs neighbor 29 times over Christmas present dispute. Murdered for not liking a gift enough? Well, that was the excuse that 37-year-old Melissa William. It's Melissa Young. I don't know where I got William from. Melissa Young gave police when she was arrested for the brutal killing of her next-door neighbor, Alan Williamson, on Christmas Day 2013. Young later claimed diminished responsibility and that mental health issues were behind the sustained attack. At the time, though, her motive was given as rage due to Williamson's dismissively rejecting her Christmas present of a pair of unisex trainers and a copy of the Sun newspaper's slightly raunchy 2014 calendar.
Those are terrible gifts.
Melissa pleaded guilty to culpable homicide in 2014 and was sentenced to a minimum 20-year sentence. Since being jailed at the women's prison HMP Cornton Vale in Stirling, she has seriously assaulted 2 female prison officers.
She just sounds like bad news.
She sounds like real bad news. You didn't like my gift?
Naughty list.
Day 7, a Christmas rampage. Oh no, it's on Titus's birthday. December 28th, 1987, Ronald Gene Simmons walked into a law firm in Russellville, Arkansas, and shot dead a receptionist who he was infatuated with, but who had spurned his advances. I want you to know that I said Arkansas correctly. Normally I say Arkansas just to piss people off.
I like to say Arkansas.
You're welcome. Then he went into the office of an oil company and shot 2 executives, killing one and injuring the other. He then drove to a convenience store and former place of work and shot 2 more people who would both survive. Finally, he would do the same at the Woodline Motor Freight Company, shooting and wounding a woman. He then sat down and waited for police to arrest him.
Oh, he was like, I'm done. It's fine.
The spree killing rocked the state, but the murders were merely a bookend to Simmons' evil festive period. 6 days previously, he had shot and strangled his wife, 2 sons, and 4 daughters.
Oh, the plot thickens.
Yeah, it doesn't end there either. Simmons then sat in the house among the bodies for 4 days, leaving only to visit a local bar. On Boxing Day, 9 more relatives turned up to visit the Simmons family, including Ronald Simmons' grandchildren. All were killed. In total, he took 16 people's lives that Christmas.
Holy moly.
On the 25th of June in 1990, then Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton signed Simmons' execution warrant and he was killed by lethal injection.
Good riddance.
What the actual shit? Like, that's what I want to dig into. And, like, what was the reasoning for murdering your whole family?
The receptionist didn't want him.
I know, but then he killed his family prior to that. And because he didn't get caught, he went and killed random people that he knew.
Yeah.
That's literally all I could imagine is why he did it.
Like, someone can't take rejection.
Me neither, but hey.
You don't go shooting up people.
Exactly. I want to, but I don't.
This is not a confession for any future crimes.
Dead inside, but feeling festive. This one's like a 1-sentencer. Okay?
Okay, I'm ready.
'Twas the night before Christmas and fire tore through the house.
Is that it?
No. Sorry. This is day 8. That was the thing. The Sodders dedicated their lives to trying to find out what happened that Christmas, but died in later in life without finding out. I don't know what that one's about. That's all it says.
Rest in peace.
Listen, crime and investigation. You didn't put all the things on. Day 9. The first and last family photograph the Lawsons would ever have taken. North Carolina tobacco farmer Charles Davis Lawson made his wife Fanny and their 7 children put on their Sunday best for Christmas Day morning in 1929, beginning of the Depression. For they were to go into town and have a professional family photograph taken, a rare treat for such a poor family. Later that day, after settling back home, Charles would set about methodically beating and shooting his wife, along with 6 of the 7 children, until they were dead. The child spared, the Lawsons' eldest 16-year-old Arthur, who Charles had sent on a needless errand before his vicious massacre. Charles Lawson's motive was never determined. Let's go get a picture. Have a great day, and then I'll beat and shoot the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Men are monsters. I mean, women can be too.
Yeah. But, like, mostly men.
Yeah. Why are y'all so violent?
I don't even know. Day 10. That made me think of something. UFC fighting. I will never understand it. I just want to say that.
UFC fighting?
Yeah, like Ultimate
MMA?
Ultimate Fighting competition or whatever, like UFC, like
people just beating the shit out of each other?
I will never understand it. I just want to put that out there. No one needs to try to explain it to me. I just never will. Like, my dad and stepmom used to pay, like, pay-per-view to watch fights. And I was like, okay, I'll sit here. I never got it. They would get, like, so into it. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, people would come over to have, like, parties to watch this.
Literally.
And I'm like, what is happening?
Do you know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of that time I was in John's brother's basement.
Yeah.
And they were, like, wrestling, and they were watching wrestling. And I was like, I think I'm going to get raped and murdered.
I mean,
because they walked me into that room, and it was just like a mattress on the floor in a basement.
Listen,
and I'm
everything
like,
about that man, I'm surprised we didn't get murdered.
I'm right.
I'm really surprised.
Yeah. I also think he was a meth head at some point.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought about his mouth. Sorry. I can't. Okay, we need to move on. We should not have eaten breakfast prior to this. Okay. Day 10. A murder so sick and twisted, it would disgust even Halloween. Christy Bamu was just 15 when he was tortured and drowned in a bath by his own sister Magali and her twisted boyfriend Eric Bikubi. It was Christmas Day 2010 when the couple finally killed poor Christy after a sustained and brutal 4-day torture session at their flat in Newham, London. When his body was found, more than 130 separate injuries were counted. The 20-something Congolese couple's excuse? ? They believed Magali's younger brother was a witch. Eric was ordered to serve at least 30 years in prison, while Magali received a minimum of 25 years for the unimaginably horrific killing. They thought he was a witch, bro.
What was Congolese?
Sorry. Yeah, that's what it says. Congolese couple.
So I wonder if that's like
the Congo.
African? Yeah. And so
witch doctor.
Culturally, not excusing it at all, but
yeah, I totally agree.
But
yeah,
rational explanation, I understand a little more.
Yes, but also not beating and torturing for 4 days.
Her brother was a witch, bro.
Her brother was a witch, bro. You're gonna tell me that I'm wrong? You're gonna look at me and tell me that I'm wrong? I'm sorry, okay.
Meme culture.
Memes are my life. That's all that goes on in my head. 11. Stagger Lee and the seasonal shutdown. Lee Shelton was a known criminal and pimp who went by the nickname Stagger Lee. Famous now because of the folk song he would inspire, Shelton wasn't a man to be trifled with, as William Billy Lyons would discover to his cost. The murder took place on Christmas night, 1895 in St. Louis, Missouri. Stagger and Billy were drinking and playing cards together in the Bill Curtis Saloon when, wouldn't you know it, they got into a dispute. Lyons snatched Stagger's Stetson hat, and you've seen westerns. Stagger Lee drew his gun, shot Lyons dead, and the rest of it is history. History and a song. What is this song?
Who is Stagger Lee? I mean, well, we know who Stagger Lee is now, but
I'm looking it up. Stagger Lee.
Folk song.
There's so many people. Lloyd Price has made a song. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Grateful Dead. The Santa Suit Slaughter.
Great name.
Yeah, that's so. It was Christmas Eve of 2004 in the small city of Covina, just outside of LA. Parties dominated the neighborhood. And this gives an address.
Skip it.
Yeah. had around 25 close friends and family enjoying each other's company. At around 11:30, a knock at the door came. Standing on the other side of the door, Santa Claus. At least that's what the 8-year-old girl who answered the door thought. But it wasn't Saint Nick. It was a man called Bruce Jeffrey Pardo, the unstable and violent ex-husband of one of the women at the party. He was holding a 9mm pistol in one hand and a flamethrower in the other. He had a
Santa! Sorry.
He had a further 3 handguns in his possession. Cruelly and methodically, he went about shooting everyone in his sight before setting alight to the house. 9 people would die and 3 would be badly injured. Pardo left, driving to his brother's house some 30 miles away. He had planned to detonate a series of handmade explosives and then make his escape to Canada. But the fire had caused his Santa suit to melt onto him, causing severe 3rd-degree burns. Instead, Pardo decided to put a bullet in his head. We hope we didn't put off your mince pies too much. Merry Christmas to everyone.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. That was everything I wanted it to be for this episode. I've been imagining it for months now.
Holly jolly murder spree.
Yes. Oh, that was great. Well, I hope all you bats and baddies enjoyed this episode. And I wish you a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Don't kill anyone, but keep it spooky.
You've been listening to The Dark, a White Wednesday Radio Network production. Our executive producer is Dustin from the Lead Up Studios team in St. Louis, Missouri. Be sure to like, follow, and share us with your friends on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and more by searching White Wednesday. You can find The Dark on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and more.